electricity for melee influence.
This is an influence build, so we're...
Of course, do not forget melee
Oh,
influence.
come on! You gotta
melee
admit this is
electric
cool! Just like a movie! The robot will emerge dramatically, do some damage, throw in some screaming people, and just when all hope is lost, Syndrome will save the day! I'll be a bigger hero than you ever were.
You mean you killed off real heroes so that you could pretend to be one?
Oh, I'm real. Real enough to defeat you! And I did it without your precious gifts, your oh-so-special powers. I'll give them heroics. I'll give them the most spectacular heroics anyone's ever seen! And when I'm old and I've had my fun, I'll sell my inventions so that everyone can be superheroes. Everyone can be super! And when everyone's super... no one will be.
I want to take a moment to talk about something that I really care about, and it's actively harming Warframe's core gameplay experience. This time around, it's melee influence. This arcane has recently exploded in popularity again, and that's due to the exalted melee changes to specific Warframes, like Excalibur, Atlas, and Gara. But it represents a larger problem that's been creeping into Warframe for years. While Warframe is a power fantasy, looter, slasher, shooter, etc. at its core, extremely awesome power fantasy doesn't mean abandoning a balance. That balance is what keeps that fantasy engaging. It's what ensures that weapons, Warframes, and mechanics have a place in the sandbox without completely trivializing everything. When we lose that balance, we get the same predictable cycle. An overpowered tool dominates, the game becomes less engaging, and DE has to introduce artificial limits to rein things back in for players. And unfortunately, that's where we are again. We've seen it before. Maiming Strike, it got nerfed because it's turned melee into an AFK spin-to-win simulator. Wukong had this really OP interaction with Nucor, with its clone, and that was nerfed because it required no effort at all. And now just recently, the Slam meta attack, that was just recently nerfed. Sorry, Casey. Sorry that happened to you, buddy. Now, all of these things were nerfed because it rewards button mashing instead of actual gameplay depth, right? And melee influence is just another addition to this growing list. An arcane that brute forces through content, making meaningful balance and enemy design irrelevant and impossible. And here's where the real damage happens. Instead of designing smarter, more engaging enemies, DE is unfortunately forced to just slap on damage attenuation mechanics just to prevent total steamrolling. It doesn't really make the game better. It stops the bleeding, so to speak, but artificial damage caps are effectively just a band-aid. Now, some of you might say, well, if it's too strong, just don't use it. That argument falls apart when the entire game's balance starts shifting around these overpowered mechanics. Warframe used to thrive on synergy, of finding creative ways to combine Warframe's abilities, weapons, and mods to push the game's mechanics in fun and rewarding ways. I remember way back in 2016, 2017, you were about to go into the Void in a mission of defense, and you knew, man, I need to have Nova. I need to get a Frost on my squad. I need to have this frame, that frame, so that we can protect the objective, kill these enemies effectively, or give ourselves some DR so we can last as long as we need to get the reward we want, right? There used to be synergy when people squatted up, but now the best option is the most brain dead one, and it invalidates every other thing that you could possibly run. It destroys variety. People go in and do everything on their own now. You don't even need teammates. Some of the best designed frames are Nidus, Citrine, Protea, Wisp, Grendel. They're engaging not because they have infinite AOE destruction or it lets you turn your brain off. They're unique because they offer unique and rewarding ways to interact with the game. And if everything just becomes Dante, then we're not really playing Warframe anymore. At that point, every frame just is effectively the same thing. Warframe used to demand strategy from its players. Like I said, you form a squad with variable strengths to succeed in the mission ahead. Those days have been gone for a really long time. You can pick any frame and find a way to blow up the map and be immortal in doing so. And let's be honest, that's not a good thing. The game is moving towards a state where universal AOE is the expectation, and not the exception that it once was. All right, we get it. What should DE do? Well, rather than doing what they've been doing, which is just nerf the problem and calling it a day, we need a deeper fix. One that gives all players a reason to engage with the game beyond mindless AOE destruction. My solution? A seasonal star chart. A new endgame layer designed specifically for high-level engagement for those who want to return to real challenge. This would function similarly to Diablo 4's world tiers and seasonal content model, introducing a rotating high difficulty variant of the star chart, and that will come with new enemies, new enemy AI, fresh enemy variants with new abilities and resistances that would force players to rethink their loadouts. Remember all of those mods where it says fire resistance? Who has ever equipped that mod? Well, maybe there would be a reason to do so in this mode. Debuffs and challenges. Missions could feature rotating debuffs, forcing players to adapt their builds and avoid one-size-fit-all strategies, which is what we've been currently doing for years. We could add trials and elite objectives. Instead of just killing everything as fast as possible, certain missions could require precision, teamwork, and coordination to succeed. If you do the mission a certain way, or in a effective way, like if you get the most headshots or the team gets an 80% headshot ratio, perhaps you get additional rewards, something that would bypass the AOE nonsense. A scaled reward system. Higher difficulty means better rewards, but instead of just loot, it could offer exclusive cosmetics, prestige ranks, and seasonal titles. We need balancing tools. In this seasonal star chart, balance tuning could happen more frequently. Overpowered mechanics wouldn't be removed, but rather adjusted within that mode alone, keeping the fun without ruining the engagement. This system wouldn't replace Warframe's existing content either, but it would give difficulty-seeking players like myself something meaningful to sink my teeth into instead of just what we've been playing. No one is saying melee influence should be removed outright. I certainly am not, but it does need to be brought in line with the rest of the sandbox. Balance doesn't mean deleting things for use. It means making them fit into the game in a way that doesn't suffocate variety and challenge. Nerfs aren't about taking away fun. They're about making sure the game stays engaging, because at the end of the day, what's more fun? Pressing one button and watching everything die with no effort, or actually using your tools in interesting ways to overcome challenges? Some of you may answer that differently, but I think the majority of people would agree with that statement. This is where Warframe needs to make a decision. Does it want to be a game of engaging combat and strategy, like I know it does, or does it want to be a game where everything just gets obliterated the moment you enter a mission, the moment an update drops? It's the same thing, new coat of paint. Right now, melee influence is pushing towards the latter. But with this new seasonal star chart, there's an opportunity to shift the game in a healthier direction. A direction that rewards player skill, creativity, and engagement instead of just raw AoE spam. If you made it this far, I thank you so much for listening to me ramble. This has been on my mind since the update dropped. Melee influence is just not fun. It is just absolutely ridiculous, and I am tired of making builds that encourage brain dead playstyle. It's not fun. It's not fun to try. It's not fun to test. It's getting stale. We need something new. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think melee influence is a problem? I hope so. How do you feel about the state of Warframe's balance? And do you think a seasonal star chart is a solution? Let's have a conversation. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.